and electronics, e-waste, and I
Wow.
that's my love language, I guess.
Yeah, you
Just
almost
being able
covered
to.
all the, all the wasteful industries that we can, make something
Well,
out
that's what
of.
I do is I try to bring awareness to the
Right.
wastefulness of industries and how we can, you know, do better. But
And
let me just, this someone door opens up slightly. I'm sorry. I want to make sure the noise doesn't come through.
no worries. So what's the one thing, or when how people reacted when they see something strange, of like you made something with the wires, and they see a dress, and how what kind of reactions you get from the people when they see it,
From the audience?
from the audience?
Wow. Well, most of the time it's amazement,
Right.
curiosity. Especially if I'm producing something that is made from all these post-consumer pieces, materials, they'll be like, "Wow, what's this?" They'll look at this. They'll say, "There's a story here." I'm like, "Yes, absolutely, there's a story," and that's really what I want. I want the audience, the consumer. I want them to reach out and be like, I want part of this. Like, I want to know what's the world that you're building, because I'm very curious about it. And that's what happens usually, and that's what I enjoy. Whether it's an art exhibition, where people are seeing all the, installations, and they're wanting to learn more, and they will ask me, and they'll be like, what were you thinking when you were putting all these
Right.
cyborgs together, and it looks so, futuristic.
Yeah.
And most of the time they'll be like, wow, it's just, they're beautiful. But there is that dark part of it. It's talking about the future and how the future might become if we're not careful.
Right.
So I like the audience to take ownership of that. I don't like to be the one that's saying like, "Oh, you need to do this, you need to do that." I'm not one to like preach. I want people to join in the conversation, and I want them to be a part of the conversation, and I want them to
Right.
take ownership of the solution, because we are,
Right.
all of us are part of the solution. And like that one saying, and I can't remember whose quote it is, but it's like a million of us doing this, making change happen imperfectly, is going to make a difference. That's what's going to get us to where we need to. So it's imperfect action.
Exactly. 100%. So what are the most common ways that we can get the people to work towards the mission of sustainability?
The most common ways that
Yeah.
people can, what could they do?
What they can do, or we can build the awareness, or ask them to, be more sustainable in the ways.
Well, I think everyone can do their part. It's just taking small steps, to make slight changes. Like in my area of fashion, textile waste, it's really quite simple. It's buying less and
Right.
shopping more quality over quantity, so that
Mm-hmm.
your clothing can last longer.
Yeah.
It's taking care of your clothing. If you have a jacket or a shirt or pants, spot clean them instead of cleaning the whole item, unless of course it's dirty. Mending, repairing your items, participating in swapping events where you're actually getting clothes for free. Those are always fun, and I actually produce workshops, whether it's corporate workshops or actually private. I have individuals that will reach out and be like, can you, host a party for me? I'm having friends over for a girls' night. There's 7 of us, and we want to make sure we get, we swap, clothes, and everybody leaves happy. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So, it's just showing people how to take control over their fashion, and
Right.
how to have fun, and how to not only save money but save the planet while they're doing
Right.
that. And they can easily do that. They could have the most fashionable pieces while they're saving the planet, because we already have way too much clothing on our planet, as you probably have heard. We have enough to last us 6 to 7 generations worth if
Exactly.
we stop producing fashion at this moment. And that's quite horrifying that we have that
Yeah,
much
it is
clothes.
concerning.
Yeah, very.
Wow.
But those are simple things that everyone can do. Just washing your clothes in cold water, that helps not release those microplastics that are so
Right.
harmful for the ocean, because everything
Exactly.
goes into the waterways, and it goes leads into the ocean.
I heard that we also got the bags for the washing thing, that you can put your
The guppy
plastic.
bags. Yeah,
Yeah,
the guppy
exactly. The
bags.
Gappy
Yeah,
bags.
you can do the yeah. And then the thing is, if you do have one of those guppy bags, what do you do with the little microplastics that you find? So the
Yeah.
one thing you can do, which is what I
That's
do,
actually a good
it
question.
You didn't think about that one,
I
right?
didn't think
So
about that.
so what you could do, and what I do, is I make art from it. So everyone can make their own art pieces, or they could actually collect all
Okay.
the little microplastics they gather in those guppy bags,
Okay.
and they probably could either ship them to me, or ship them, or send them to a local artist. You know, a local artist will make something from them.
What type of art you make? Is that something that you put behind you
Yeah,
or what?
the piece behind me, as you can see,
That's from the
that's
microplastics.
no, that one doesn't have any microplastics on it. It's just
Oh,
been that's an upcycled canvas. So it's
wow.
a previous. I use canvases that I repurpose. So as you can see, it's a hand holding up Mother
Mm-hmm.
Earth, and
Mm-hmm.
so I have various pieces. Some of them have textile scraps on them. Some of them have plastic. Each one is individual. And some of them
Wow.
have during the pandemic, I have
Mm-hmm.
tons of them that have the mask, the COVID mask,
Wow.
because
Mm-hmm.
there was so many of those thrown on the street, so I'd collect them from the street, and then
Okay.
I make art pieces from that.
From the
So
face mask.
yeah, because I found so many during the pandemic. They were just
Ah.
like, they would be littered everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Just like trash. Nobody would think about it, or they'd fall out of their car. I don't know. I would find them all the time. So I'm hoping that, in the future, that these art pieces are worth a lot for people who collect them, who
Mm-hmm.
are purchasing them, my artwork, which I really appreciate, those that do purchase my art,
Right.
because it's dated from a period that was during the pandemic. So, it's maybe, 30 years from now, 50 years from now, it's something that we'll look back and be like, wow, that art that
Definitely.
was produced during that time,
Yeah. Right.
everything becomes more valuable as it ages.
As
So,
the age is. Exactly. Well said. So
yeah.
I have a question, which is why do you call yourself and people call you the OG? What's the reason
Uh,
behind it?
well, well, I don't know if they call me necessarily an OG. I am an OG just because I've been around for such a long time. I've been doing
Okay.
fashion. Well, I didn't start in fast fashion. I actually started making custom pieces. I started with designing for individuals like Von Terry. He was someone that I worked with right after I graduated from Fashion Institute of Design and
Mm.
Merchandising, and he actually used to design for Prince and Janet Jackson. So he did the designs for like purple rain, purple revolution, and he did like their tours. I wasn't with them during that time. I came in afterwards,
Okay.
and that was my intention with being a designer, is making custom made pieces that were unique and were for like entertainers, musicians, celebrities, anyone that wanted just a custom made piece. That was my whole intention of designing. So also during that time period, and like I said, that's why I'm an OG, because it's during that time period when fast fashion started taking off, and fast fashion at the time wasn't called fast fashion. It was just called it's something about the convenience of shopping fashion, because you
Oh,
would have everything
okay.
accessible to you.
Right.
And so the one thing that started is I started getting asked to participate, to design in fast fashion,
Mm-hmm.
and I was very hesitant at first, because I was like, no, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm custom making pieces. I already had worked my way up to being an assistant, from first pattern maker to assistant, and I was like, no, I'm really, this is where my goal is.
Mm-hmm.
But they were recruiting so many young designers at the time,